right, so welcome to this week's Unikernel Application Spotlight. I know it's only been a few days since the last one, but last week I was super late on having it off the tour. So, anyways, back to regular schedule that we got going on. So, this week we're looking at corrosion. Corrosion is basically used for service discovery. So it's kind of in the same vein as something like Console from HashiCorp, but this one's from Fly.io, and has some interesting features, and we're going to show you some of them. We'll just kind of quickly kind of go over what some of this stuff does. Basically, you can maintain a SQLite database, and these nodes kind of connect across the network and share state. Now they do that using SWIM, which is a group membership protocol, and it uses the CR SQLite. So this is for convergent replicated data types. I know that might sound like a mouthful, but essentially in plain English, what it really means is, like, say you have your application, it goes offline, it writes to the SQL store, then it comes back online, and now you want to share those updates with some of the other peers. That's kind of like what it facilitates. And as you can see, Fly's not the only one using this particular library. They also got Terso and some others here. So this is an interesting little thing. What else were we going to? Oh yeah, so they have templating, and I am going to show this because I found it pretty interesting. And I don't know how you pronounce this. Raya, Ray. I don't know. Anyways, so this is the lib that they're using for that. And this Foca. It also has UDP using Quick, and then HTTP streaming and all sorts of other stuff. Anyways, it's an interesting project. I've only explored it a little bit, enough to make the package in the video, but I would encourage you to explore it more. All right, so as you can see, you can go to here to download this package that I cut, and there's nothing special. This is just like a Rust binary. I think it's 200 or 300 megs in the release version, and then I gave it like a bigger file system for the database and stuff. And then let's see here. Before I do this, let me just show you the config that we did. So this is the config that I made, and I made it listen on localhost and also this user mode IP that QEMU defaults to 10.02.15. And the reason why is because it actually doesn't have an any interface listener, even though this has one, and I think this one has one too. So yeah, there's like a fix that would need to be applied here to actually do that. But for now this works. All right, so that's our config. Now we can go ahead and run this. So we're going to pop open 8080, 8787. It's up and running, does its thing. Now let's skip over to our quick start. So we're just using the quick start off their docs. This is the table that we made, and I went ahead and preloaded this into the package, so you can just overwrite the schema with whatever you have. But for this example, we're using this to-dos, pretty basic. It's really just the date and some random string. Configuration, which we just showed you, we just started it. So now let's go ahead and write some data. So this is how you do it. I'm gonna pop over to this window, and so I have the same CLI tool library here, but I'm going to make one tiny little change and point it at my config that I have here, which is the exact same config that I put in the package, by the way. Set the ID, and then do that. So we could do this a couple times. give it another ID, and then, maybe write some other sort of message here. Something goes here, right? And so we're writing into this. Now keep in mind that you can spin up many of these other nodes, and then they can share all this. That's where our CRDTs are coming in. And then, locally, if you could do this locally, you could do this. And you could also do like an ops image copy to copy out the SQLite database if you wanted to, which is an interesting debug exercise when first you can dump the actual image and then you can dump the SQLite out of the image. That'd be interesting. But for this example, we're just going to use the API. It's pretty easy. So we're just going to copy this. And it's essentially, the exact same thing. We're going to set that config, do a query, select all from to-dos, and we see our stuff. Great. Now keep in mind, this is all going to go out to every node that's attached. All right, so we're going to pretend we set up this node B, but I wanted to show you this templating because I found this really interesting. So they have this notion of templates, and basically you can stick your SQL query right here inside the template, and then it'll render into this. And so if you've ever used stuff like, I presume this comes from like Herb from the Ruby world. That's what that templating looks like to me, but maybe it's different. Anyways, this is a kind of a cool feature. So let's go ahead and run this template. And so again, we're gonna hook it up to this and then see what pops up. And I need to set my config. Okay, so now it's running, right? Now what we can do is we can watch it. So this is kind of where it gets a little bit interesting. All right, so those are the two things that we put into the data store, right? But let's go ahead and add some more. So we're just gonna add this again. Let me just use the same binary for. So now we're going to add a new one, and on the left you can kind of see that it tells it in real time essentially. So we can just change the ID here, and we can go ahead and update. This is an update. And we get another one. They even do stuff like where they, change it. So you can do this just to give you the round trip here. If I can copy this, let's see here. So we'll do this. As you can see, they're setting theirs, but we're gonna set ours. And then we're just gonna set all the completed ats to a different thing, and it checks the box. I don't know, this is kind of cool. Anyways, so Corrosion, written by Fly, provides gossip-based service discovery, written in Rust, now running as Unikernel. Till next time.